federal law that requires any shipping of goods or materials on into U.S. ports to be on U.S. flagged ships or U.S. crude ships, I should say. Basically, they're very pro-union.
So you got somebody to represent it?
He's working with Kevin Smith, running for Senate, and I think they just want to better understand
Gotcha.
the Jones Act. I'm gonna go just grab some water. Do you want it? Oh, you got it? You're good? We got it. Looks like, good evening, Glenn. Come on in. I'll be right out. Go in there now.
So I had to take Marshall today. Oh my gosh. This is Battery that, like, he got a waiting sign on Sunday, I guess. Yeah. So yesterday I made the appointment, today I arrived.
She's doing good. She's excited.
And,
She wants to get going.
I started off with the wipers on and the radio.
She did. She got
That
the
being
first
said,
tip.
don't turn anything on. I had to use the wipers. Yeah. You know, but I'm a car person because everybody else is working, so.
Yeah, in fact, we were talking about that the other
So
day.
then,
She was saying that.
I get through Exeter and radio
Yeah,
turns
there's
off.
some issues.
I'm getting to Great Mill, and where that is, and all of a sudden the windshield wipers are just like,
Yeah.
it's not even going. I thought, oh my God, she said it's gonna shut down. Yeah. So I got to Great Mill and it started coming down, and I thought, because all the lights went on in the dashboard and then everything was black. And I thought, oh, and this is like a really windy, so I was able to get into Memory's ice cream. And then I have a turkey coming in. No! Yeah, and well, take me to LaPage, we go to LaPage's office, and because we just, when I worked there, it was so
I didn't
easy to,
touch
like,
her.
I'll take whatever car has to go, so
Oh, yeah. And the granny kisses on her fingers. She'd come over.
What a day.
Yeah, so it's just this.
And every rock came up 6 times, right?
Hi, good, how are you?
So how we come?
In there? Well, I think so. Well, the person across the.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I Richard's hat.
Oh, yes.
But the next morning I went to go look for the.
And where's it gonna be?
To put the bird feeder
At the
on.
library, what time?
Well, and the one that does good and all that, so.
I just put up some words.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. Thank you.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, yeah.
Today is the last day or tomorrow? I thought it went to the 13th.
What's that?
Oh, something for the.
Oh.
Master Yeah.
Master gardeners. I'm not a master gardener. My wife is a master gardener. I'm a master lawn guy.
I'm just a laborer. I just dig a hole, rather.
Oh, I do that too.
So I haven't heard back from Ann and Tim. Right, I'm literally gonna ask. Just go with it because that's one that people.
We're just gonna wait 2 more minutes just in case anybody's tuning in. You don't have a chance to.
We're on TV.
We always are.
Where's the camera?
Like that.
Oh, they can't see us.
Just don't say anything you wouldn't want on TV, Nancy.
And so, the Master Gardener Women Association is going to meet on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do a review. I don't know if we'll be in the meeting or are you accused of something? Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Oh, this is the same, yeah, same time.
Yeah, we're supposed to, the meeting's
What's that?
Susan's video.
Just
Oh,
double
okay.
check.
For my reference. Can you ask her, like, the camera's there?
Oh, no, that,
That's fine. Do you want to ask me about Oh, no, that's a grant, yeah, so the master government.
There we go.
Community conference is doing like 603 channels.
That's going.
And,
That's going.
the NGA.
That's going.
The Master Record Program had donated $2,000.
We are running.
Okay. And we're closing probably
we'll just go with it.
decision tree.
Open thread, open thread.
Does that sound good to you? Is that okay? Yeah. Linda said yes. The only people I haven't heard from are Tim Mayer.
Just move it.
Okay.
All right, we'll call this meeting to order at 7:01. First item on the agenda is our garden club.
Any formalities?
No. Here?
Alright,
This is Newfields.
so, the garden club, we've got 4 representatives here. We got 2 goals that we want to talk about tonight. One is the project we're proposing on Summer Street, and 2 is to discuss the federal funding through ARPA. So, we are looking at the Newland property on Summer Street. It's about 150 by 180 feet, wedge-shaped piece of property, and we're hoping to install a walking path through the woods. That would include removing any trees that would be in the way of the path. All trees that are 6 inches or greater diameter would stay. There are some shrubby invasives that are barberry and euonymus.
No, very much.
Pretty much, not very much. Yeah, so there's some invasive plants that really should be removed regardless. And we hoped to also install some flowering shrubs, some understory plants, and some additional plants to beautify that area. And also an area that's just dedicated to a fernery or a shrubbery. And that will include native plants, ferns, and things like that, and take advantage of the natural setting. We'd also like to include additional information on tree identification. Can we add a few tags to some of the trees? We also, we already have an informational sign about woodland plants and woodland gardening. We'd like to help incorporate this project into the project that we've already established there. Also along the path, we were hoping to install a few benches, seating areas, that's just kind of relax and enjoy. We are looking for about $4,931 in the ARPA funds. That would address the outdoor activity and mental health aspects of the ARPA requirements, and also add to the perhaps attraction of the land and people coming in to look at the historic sign. It's actually a thing. It's a tourist thing. People come and look at the historic sign. And when we use that land for Memorial Day or any other events that are happening around town, that will help bring people in, and people are visiting from out of town, they might visit the country store or move down or get gas or something like that. So then, if we're attracting some people, completing that experience, and maybe they'll spend a little bit of money in town.
Well, one of the primary factors for me in doing that path is it comes out right near where the path to the Hilton Family Cemetery is. And so we would kind of incorporate, it would like just kind of round out that whole corner to connect the historic marker with the garden club's doing, and then they can just wander down to see the Hilton Family Cemetery and the homestead site.
Is the whole path on that property itself, or are you going onto a private property?
No,
Okay, great.
we talked to the abutters.
Yeah, I approached both of the abutters and talked with them about it, and they were both very happy
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to clean up that area, and, they were fine with whatever we were gonna do there. I showed them a copy of the map and talked with them about it, and they were very receptive.
I would imagine they would be. I mean, it's a nice project. I just want to make sure that we're not, even if the abutters approve for the path going on their property, you don't necessarily want to do that because the next owner may say, I don't want this on my property. And now we have to go and get an easement or,
We're staying well within
yeah,
the bounds.
as long as you're staying in the bounds of the property. Right? I just want to make sure of that because from the town's perspective, you know, we're responsible.
We were thinking about ways to put visual barriers so people wouldn't wander off into
Their property.
Yeah.
just like that.
Yep.
Do you have a map with you on it? You have a chart with you?
Oh, can you take this?
I didn't get that.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that's on the corner of Summer Street
got that.
and
That's the one.
85? Yeah.
This is the one I wanted to see.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's the tax map.
Yep. So of the $4,931, have you thought about doing any fundraising in lieu of using taxpayer dollars?
We were looking for ARPA funds, not, is that what I'm
And
saying?
everybody's looking for ARPA funds,
Got
right? And it's not that I'm saying that there aren't funds available, but typically the ARPA funds were, designed for specific categories. Mainly infrastructure, which, they've been pushing mainly because of the job creating characteristics of infrastructure. Obviously, they deal with some of the COVID costs to address COVID, premium pay for people who are on the front line and as town employees who have to deal with the general public. And the last category was, I don't know, there were 4 categories. That being said, yes, we could use ARPA funds for this, but I do know that everybody is looking is coming up with the same. Can we use ARPA funds for that? Use it for the stormwater, right? We've given some money to the water and sewer department because they have some issues that they need to address for some of the wells. Lots of ideas, use it for conservation, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm throwing it out to you just to say, hey, look, I'm not saying no, but I'd like to inquire about, have you looked at other options before we start tapping those funds?
With this project, this is only part of the project.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeking funds for the other half of the project.
Which is,
The grant from the Master Gardeners Association.
okay, can you tell us about that then?
That, the Master Carpenters Alumni Association, we're looking for about a little under $1,000 that would cover planting materials, and signage and educational information to present.
Oh, and that's not in this budget?
No,
Okay.
that's included.
So those would be additional things that you enhance this with
Yeah.
if you got that grant? Okay.
One restriction we do have with the Master Gardener Alumni Association is we're not allowed to use those funds for labor. So the largest portion of this project is the labor to clear out the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's $2,500.
So that would not be
Yeah.
covered under Master Gardeners Alumni Association. We explored another trust fund that would not be enough to cover the labor of the land.
Mm-hmm.
And Holly, do you want to speak to the fact that we are also asking for seniors at the high school on senior day to come and help us
Spread the
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
We do a lot of fundraising for our Memorial Day plant sale. There's a lot behind that. We have to go dig the plants up, we have to keep them healthy, and sell them and so forth. And we use most of that money for the plants that we put in other places, the town hall, the post office, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the money that we raise, all the money that we raise goes back into the town.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, we use it for educational programs, which we haven't been able to do for the last 2 years, but we had like a monarch discussion, wildflower gardens, and we came in to present about that. So
Okay.
we try to do that once a year, but again, we haven't been able to do that since 2011.
Of course, of course.
We had John Fody here.
Yes.
That was really well attended.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, questions?
If you guys, if there are scout units available to help with labor? Scouts to
Scout.
help with labor like seniors?
We've had scouts for project.
For watering
Yeah.
Or moving wood chips and doing stuff like that?
Those are what the seniors will be doing.
I was just thinking there's another resource, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could get the return you want out of that, plus it'd be good for them for their civil action.
Have you identified who would do the lane clearing? Are you contracting out for it?
Yeah, we have an estimate.
And that was at 2,500.
Yeah.
It's the biggest chunk.
Started a little higher than that.
And you worked with them.
Yes.
Then we're
With an in-town discount.
Yeah.
Sharpen the pencil, that doesn't work.
So I wonder who it might be. Guy out here on Route 87. Okay.
Did we include that did we include them in the estimate with?
The 2,500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in here. It's in the budget.
We didn't
Yep.
just say, we didn't say who.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can do this. Okay.
Well, we can advertise. for them.
So timing on this?
ASAP.
We'd like to have the land cleared before June 6th, because that's the Exeter School senior work day, or
Okay.
give back to your community day. So that was our goal, is that we could get the land cleared, and then the wood chips hopefully created in a pathway.
Okay. All right. So I would suggest we're obviously short one tonight. I think let us mull this over, and we'll get back in a timely manner so that you can meet those kinds of timetables. Like I said, I'm not saying, can't use the ARPA money, we can't. But I think we have to consider this in the context of everything else and see if there's a way we can minimize the cost to taxpayers for the most part.
Well, keep in mind that we can't use the other funds for any of the labor.
That,
No, I understand that. Oh, no, I grasp that.
That's one of the
No,
things-
I absolutely, totally understand that. And again, you're looking at the 2,500 is the big nut here, so and we understand that. So. Okay? You have anything else?
If you have any questions, you can contact any one of us.
Well, we know where to find you all.
You do.
And by the way, you guys provided the letter for the rain gardens.
yes.
Yes.
So just for general public knowledge, this is great. Bill Reserve, Garden Club members, Carl from the library and I were looking at, Bill Reserve is looking at this state program for grant money for basically stormwater retention type grants. And we're certainly looking at it for improving our stormwater system here in town. But as part of that, they had identified both at the library and here in town hall at doing some rain gardens to basically divert some of the water mainly coming off of the roofs at this point in time to put into rain gardens. And one of the issues there is obviously maintaining those. Garden Club has indicated an interest in helping to maintain it, and they'll work with the town, obviously, because it's depending on how labor intensive it is and your volunteers. But we'll certainly work with them to maintain this if we do get the grants. And as part of that, the Garden Club provided a letter of support for the concept, which I believe Bill is including in the application that he's putting in this week. In addition to that, I put a letter together for the town, do the same thing, saying that, same issues, that if we can get the grant money, it would be something the town would
Slow
support.
up the rain.
Yep,
Instead of it.
basically slow down the discharge, right? It's never going away, it's just where you're gonna put it and give it time to work its way into the ground as opposed to running off down the impervious surfaces. Anything else you guys have?
I don't think so.
Any more questions?
I'm all set right now.
Great. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Ken. Dancing coming back, huh?
It's just on the verge. There's a few of them happening. One of them occasionally is outdoors in Newcastle.
Oh,
I have to tell you right off the bat, he had one say 2 weeks ago, and one was proposed for perhaps this weekend. And with the upflow of some COVID cases, he's decided to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bigger events locations is Concord, Massachusetts. And they have started with some of their dances down there. Their safety mechanism is basically contact tracing. And that was really the extent at which I feel like we could perhaps perform. The host is doing this without masks because it's
Not the same kind of an event.
can get enthusiastic. So at the beginning of COVID, basically the town hall was closed down to private functions or public functions for that matter. And we're sort of coming to the end of that, well, partway through it anyway. So coming in, whether it's permission, I don't know, but it's wanting to open the discussion as to what we need to see to be able to be back in the town hall.
At this point in time, you know, we don't have any restrictions here in town hall.
Okay?
I certainly don't see a problem. I mean, we've held events in here. We held the new Chiefs event. We held candidates night in here. You know, if we've left the choices to the attendees. In terms of your event, you know, it's your event. I certainly don't have a problem with maintaining those rules for you if you want to bring the contra dancers back here. I mean, I assume that it would be under the outstanding agreement that we have now, right? Which is $40 for up to 35, $75 for over 35 people, is I think how we have it, right?
I thought we had moved it up to 40 or 45.
Oh, maybe.
Numbers.
Yeah. Regardless, we're not worried about that.
Yeah, and that change that we did at that time made a huge difference in that we're sometimes so embarrassed
Right.
at how little money we take in.
No, and that's why we talked about that.
Yeah,
But in terms of bringing the events back,
okay.
personally, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't have that happen. I think it'd be great to have the events back here. So.
I think it'd be a good thing.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a good thing if the town peoples were participating, but
Of course, but that's your advertising. That's on you, Ken. That's on you.
and yeah. My observation is that's not just Newfields.
Yeah. But look, if what you're looking for is permission to basically go,
Yeah.
we,
Go in and say so, yeah, we want it for
Yep.
Friday, last Friday, whatever the date is, once a month.
great.
Okay.
Just in terms of formalities, I'll make a motion that we reopen the town hall for the concert dances.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Great.
Thank you.
Easy peasy, Ken.
Absolutely.
When do you guys think your next one's gonna be?
I don't know. One of my other organizers was indicating fall, when possible it could happen soon, just because there's permission. It's my understanding that there are some musicians and some callers who prefer not to. So I don't know what challenges that will produce. May also be that as much as there's some vocal people who have talked about wanting to get back to contra dancing, there may be percentage that are not ready to.
Right.
That could be a significant problem.
So you guys are playing it by ear?
Is there a make or break number that you can't?
Well, we have been, say, charging $10 per person coming in, and then we split the proceeds 5 ways, two each, something like that, and then Seacoast Contra gets one part. And we often give that away because there's not enough. If you're gonna pay musicians that came down from Maine $50, it's just hard to, they might have spent that in gasoline.
Right.
Especially these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was then, not now.
And that's why we talked about lowering the fee.
That is why, and it's basically contra dancing as far, it's kind of folk history,
Mm-hmm.
living. As
Kind of
well-
like you.
As well as,
Kind of like you, Ken.
Shots out.
put me in the dictionary there, lad.
Be happy to, Ken. Be happy to. Oh, be happy to.
Your beard's all white.
You like that? My kids have been referring to me as Santa Claus.
It needs to be wispier than it is now.
Yeah, well, I can't take it. I can't. This is about as long as I live. Then I trim it back a little. So. All right. Well, if you run into problems, or you know the process, just communicate with us in advance,
Okay.
and we'll be good.
I mean, between Keisha and the notes and,
Yeah.
and Sue, it's
Easy process.
I guess.
That's how we like to keep it. All right. Next item up, railway right-of-way cleanup. What is that one, Keisha?
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Right.
So, one of the things, if you look around on the tracks as they go through town, there are ties. It's an absolute disaster. There's piles of ties. There's old ties, there's new ties, and everything else. I kind of look at it as one, an environmental hazard for all the creosote in, and they're all on the upside of the river, and as the water flows downhill and goes through it, it takes it down to the river now. That's kind of one of the aspects. Another is it's a fire hazard. I talked to Ray Buxton about it, and they have had a couple fires over the years, some tie fires. He told me, one year it got so bad they just ended up throwing the burning tires in the river, to put the fire out.
Why not?
And then the last part of it, it's an aesthetic issue. It looks like hell. So I did a little research on it. Pan Am's the current owner, and they have missed, I would always say this, they have missed numerous opportunities to demonstrate their good neighborliness. Pan Am is in the process of being taken over by CSX.
CSX, yeah.
I've talked to Peter Leishman, who owns the Milford Bennington Railroad, and he said he's had the same issues with them as far as dealing with Pan Am. I talked to Peter Bragdon, who used to be in the state senate, who is now a lobbyist for the CSX merger, and the organization that's in charge of the U.S. Surface Transportation Board decisions pending that should be coming out in this month, probably the middle of the month, towards the end of the month, approving the CSX takeover. And Peter's representation was that CSX really strives hard to be a good neighbor, good community relations. Matter of fact, his comment was, he says, you look at their rail tracks and they look like they've been manicured and landscaped. So I think once this takes place, I would like, I guess I'm not sure how to phase this, but I would like to pursue this and see about which point we can, once CSX takes over, make a liaison with them to see about them coming in. Now, the way and cleaning up all these old ties, because I mean, you go down on Railroad Street, everywhere there's just ties. And if I go down behind our property, down on the tracks, there's, in either direction, there's hundreds of ties just thrown all over the place.
Yep.
And plus, there's all their scrap iron tracks that they've pulled, and spikes, and plates, tie plates, and everything down there. So I'd like to pursue that and see once they come in if we can get some action taken, so they will come in and clean up what looks like hell along sections of town, especially in public areas going along through the
Well,
water
that
section.
part of me was
Yes, sir.
thinking that down the railroad, particularly at the crossing, is where they have access with the truck to load this stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and so I asked Peter Leishman, I said, how do they do this? How do they clean them up? He says, they'll bring a car through, and it's got a boom on it, and it will reach out and pick them up, and they chip them right on the spot. And then they take them to an incinerator, he said, because most of them are so old that the creosote is leached out at this point, which has gone down the river. But the creosote is leached out, and they chip it, and they incinerate it at like 2,000 degrees, so it's a pure
But
burn.
on site? No.
Oh, no, on site.
No, they haul the chips away.
They'll haul the chips away. They incinerate, they chip it on site, and then they'll take train cars with the chips, and then they'll go to an incinerator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was trying to think that they had to switch it into a
Truck.
A truck.
No, sir. That's the way that is not the way it's supposed to be. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of nuance and a lot of things I've discerned yet, but I just wanted to do some basic
Yeah,
research
the idea is excellent.
so that we can pursue this and get this, because it looks like it just doesn't look good. And it's an environmental issue and it's a fire issue. So I would like to pursue that with a green light from the board.
There's some down behind Hilton.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
And down behind Michael, we're the last house in town there on the Exeter line. That gray cape down there past the.
Okay.
Yeah, down by Hutchinson.
Did you say something down there?
The skeleton.
You had an apartment down there?
No, the skeleton house down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we go back down there in the tracks, I mean, there are ties, and it looks like a kid dropped a bunch of matchsticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mess. So I would like to pursue.
There's a ton up by the junction too. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows all the stuff up at the junction. Well, look, I mean, I would certainly encourage this. I mean, there's no downside here in terms of reaching out to CSX and finding out what they can do, when they can do it, and what they need from the town. Whether it's, I would imagine they don't need much from this because it's sitting on their right of ways. But I mean, it's certainly reaching out as a representative of the town and encouraging them to do this. I think can only be a good thing.
I think if you get yourself on a list of areas that are of concern.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Bragg did reference that, again, that they are good, really big on community relations. And then at the last thing he said before we hung up was, plus you have a governor of the U.S. Senate living in your town. And that may carry some weight.
Did Peter give you a contact over at CSX or something?
No, because I just explained to him, this is just an initial
Yep.
conversation
Yep.
for me to gain knowledge.
Yep.
And I'm not going to presume to move forward until I've had a point,
Yeah.
which I can.
No, I think, I mean, I'll fully support the effort. I think it's worthwhile for you to continue to pursue. Obviously, if there's commitments from the town, we'll have to have a further discussion, but I would imagine it would be minimal at this point in time for you to go and have some serious conversations with CSX and their representatives to look at what we can do to move up on their list and get this done here in town.
So I take that as a green light?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Great. All right. Any other questions or comments about that? Next item, trash collection. So you should have in front of you, or in your packet, is a copy of the existing contract with Waste Management. This contract is up at the end of this year. It covers 20, 21, and 22, a 3-year contract. My guess is we'll put it out to bid again. But I would suggest take a look at this.
I've read it.
Great. I think we'll certainly wait till Jackie gets back to fully address it. And my guess is that we'll put a bid out sometime around mid-year to the waste companies for the municipal solid waste, the curbside municipal solid waste here in town and get some bids.
I have a question.
Ask away.
So if I look at this on page 2, the first paragraph.
Yep.
And this is just for my general knowledge, I guess. All MSW shall be placed in plastic bags or suitable containers not exceeding 33 gallons.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to page 4, section 7. All MSW hauled by the contractor shall be so contained, tied, or enclosed that leakage doesn't blah, blah, blah. So what I'm seeing here in this, the way I read it.
Well, that provision deals with the fact that the litter, in other words, when they take it out in the event of spillage, they have to clean up that litter.
Totally understand.
Yep.
But so my question is, we've got an or here, that the way I read this, that we shouldn't have to be putting in plastic bags that sit in the landfills and not do anything but never deteriorate for the next 100 years. That a container, a suitable container with a lid should be sufficient preclude wasting plastic bags.
It should be, but again, I think that, you know, a lot of people don't necessarily have large containers, or if they have additional materials that don't fit in the containers, they provide them in the plastic bags. But I would, no, I understand what you're saying. If you think that, you know, you want to leave stuff out in your trash as opposed to a bag in your trash.
Well, so what we do is, and it just doesn't make any sense to me environmentally, that we take our trash and then we put it in 55-gallon drum or bags, or contractors' bags, or kitchen bags, or whatever. And then those 55-gallon bags, those contractor bags, go to the landfill, and they never break down for 100 years or something like that. Where if it's loose trash in a container with a lid on it, then they dump it in and it goes into the landfill, and it's not an issue.
Are you suggesting that we prohibit
Either
people?
or. No, I'm saying either or.
Oh, yeah, but again, I think it's an either or.
But what the way it's been explained to me when I had asked the guys, and they will not take it if it's not in bags.
Oh, loose, well, that's a conversation, you know, you can certainly reach out. Peter LaChapelle, I'll get you his contact information at Waste Management, you can have that conversation with him about what they will allow or not allow, but certainly as this goes out to bid, you know,
And that's what I'm referencing.
if other potential haulers provide that option, I think it's certainly something that we could consider in terms of the bids.
Because I just soon put less plastic into the landfills than more plastic.
Sure.
But you're not talking about banning use of plastic.
No, sir.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
certainly
just-
support that.
I mean,
No, I'm just saying that when I have to put my trash in a 55, contractor's black plastic bag,
Yeah.
when I can put it in a trash can with a lid that they can dump into the truck, why am I throwing another contractor's bag in there with all that stuff in it? It's not gonna even get to breaking down environmentally. And this may not be the time or the place for this conversation, but I'm just looking for.
Again, I think it's a legitimate issue to raise with Waste Management and raise with the other potential bidders, but I'm not aware of any prohibition of things like putting it in paper bags as opposed to plastic bags, and putting those in your containers.
And they told me it can't be loose in the trash can.
That I don't know. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
And see, that's where my issue is, because it all, and if you talk to the landfill guys, it just goes there and it gets dumped, and it gets bulldozed into the landfill.
My guess is, if I had to speculate, my guess is because they recognize that if it's loose in the bin, when they move it from the bin to the truck, you have a much greater potential for the litter problem, which is time, and time is money in terms of them moving this stuff and getting it out. But have that conversation with Peter.
Okay.
I encourage it. I'll send you his contact information. He's the town contact from Waste Management, and he'll be able to answer any of your questions. So,
Thank you for that.
just something to deal with, I think, certainly in the bid, and having that conversation with the other bidders as well. So, again, I think the plan, at least the standing plan right now would be, we'll try to put a bid together, and by mid-year, put that out so that we can get everything crossed and T'd by the end of the year before Waste Management contacts us. All right. Next item. Let me jump down to town hall rentals. So you should have copies of 2 town hall rentals. It looks like this. Yep. So the first one is Justin Gierka on Bassett Lane. Deer Trees is interested on doing a meeting here on 5/18 from 7 to 8:30, about 25 people, and I don't believe alcohol will be served. And they paid their check for $50 for the application. I don't have any questions. Do you have any comments on this? I'll make a motion to approve the HOA meeting for Deer Trees on 5/18 for Town Hall.
Second it?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Today is the 12th, right? The next one up is Courtney Vaughn, also of Deer Trees. It's a meeting of the Covenant Review Committee at Deer Trees. for May 2nd, 5:30 PM. It should be vacating at 9 PM, I take it. 10 people, again, no alcohol. I'll make a motion to accept.
Accept. Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Great. Okay, great. We have a couple oaths of office. Has the oath been administered for these? These are just approvals of filling the vacancies, correct? So we have 3 vacancies being filled here. First one is Charles Law. Second one is Jeff Pierce. And the third one is Bill Blaze, to fill positions in the police department. Any questions, issues, concerns you have?
No.
I'll make a motion to accept all 3 of these for new officers here in the town of Newfield.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. This is the 12th day. There you go.
Why does it get harder to remember what month it is every time?
Because we're getting older. Great. Okay. Before we do prior meeting minutes and revenue, just a few items. Just for public knowledge, May 7th is the spring cleanup, in case nobody's seen that. That cleanup will take place in the usual place down at the water treatment plant. You know, bring all your spring cleanup stuff, and Waste Management will be there with the trucks to haul it away. Another quick item, we reached out to Derek Durbin, our town council, about the status of the fees due from Hazel on the property that we cleaned up next to the school. He's been in discussions with Hazel's legal counsel, but there hasn't been a whole lot of finalization on that. It's reached a point now where our legal counsel thinks he's going to go back to the court and just request that the court allows the town to lien the property to collect the funds. So my guess is that before the summer, we're probably going to either have some resolution with Hazel or we're going to move on the property. But more to come, I guess, on that long-running saga.
Well, I could even guess at what the value of that property is.
No. You know, in the current market, it's anybody's guess what somebody may pay for that property. It's an attractive piece of property. It's right there next to the school. You know, what somebody would buy for, I have no idea.
Somebody living there?
So, no, there's no water. Water service was shut off years ago.
And no well.
What's that?
No well.
It's in the water district, and I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to any well on there. I mean, I'm not even sure if it's fully served by electricity at this point in time. John periodically shows up on the property and does stuff around the property, but I don't think he's living on the property at all. So, but it is what it is. So as you know, as we get information from Derek, I'll certainly inform the board and the general public as to what that is. I mean, right now the outstanding fees for the cleanup are something on the order of I think $19,000, and then there's additional fees for the violation of the ordinances, which is significantly larger that the court has approved us to obtain. But that's the discussion Derek's having with their legal counsel about how to finalize and come to an agreement about payment.
On dollar. assessing what the dollar figure is gonna be.
Well,
The fees.
the fees
Yeah.
are $192,000. That's what happens when you, for 5 years, ignore the town after it issued a notice of violation. So, the court wasn't happy with John, and they had no problem approving the fees. We're trying to work with John to come to an agreement about how to settle this. And unfortunately, John has not been very responsive. So, we'll figure it out one way or another. Last item, just as an informative. So, there's been some back and forth about where the rail trail crosses Route 87. Some of the owners in the area, this was an issue, especially when, during COVID, when we had large numbers of people coming to the town, certainly from Massachusetts. When Massachusetts was locking down hard, a lot of people would come up here, Newfields and all over the seacoast, to take advantage of the access to open space that we have here in town.
Is this near Nichols, across from Nichols Farm?
This is right at the junction. Right at the junction. So, this was an issue that was raised, I think by the Corys back in 2019, 2020. I want to say it's 2020. At that point in time, you know, we recognized it was somewhat difficult given the number of traffic, the number of people who were parking in and around there. And we were trying to work with them for at least a temporary solution, certainly while the COVID situation was creating an abnormal number of people coming into town. Certainly that subsided as restrictions were lifted, but there are still issues and questions about putting no parking on that area, which the snowmobilers have the piece of equipment there to do the trails, but people will park in that area. Now, that is not town property. That is owned by the Department of Transportation and is supposedly managed by Cultural Resources, I think, the Trails Division of Cultural Resources.
Correct.
And so we technically don't have jurisdiction over that property. The property owners have been reached out to the state about this. There's been a bunch of back and forth. Some signs appeared. The signs got moved. There were concerns when the signs went up because people were no longer parking there. They were now parking down on Cooper Road, and the residents of Cooper Road were having concerns, why don't we get signs? So, all this being said, one, I don't think that we necessarily can just be putting up no parking signs on every road in town. Yes, it's an inconvenience for homeowners, but at the same time, these are public roads, and we have to be accommodative to people who may want to park on the side of town roads. At the same time, we have to work with the state to address exactly what their thoughts are about that property, what signage or prohibitions they want on that property. And my presumption is they're going to want us to enforce that, but we have to come to some kind of agreement with them about that matter. So in light of that, the police department chief, Chief Young, has reached out. I think we're going to try to have a multi-group meeting to talk about between Natural Resources and the Trails Division, Department of Transportation that owns the land, certainly our police department, Board of Selectmen in terms of enforcement. And we're going to try to have a meeting to come to some understanding about what possibly should be done, who's going to be responsible, how it would be enforced, what process has to take place for any of this to get done. So I'm letting the general public know that, you know, this is something that we recognize as an issue, but at the same time, we need to do more work and coordinate with other agencies at the state level before we can do anything in particular about it. With that, I'll just say, is there anything I missed?
You got all the bases.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I know we've been communicating, I've been communicating with Wayne about this, and as it came up, really over this past week, I think, right?
Correct. It was brought to our attention last week. Obviously, it's something that the chief and I are just learning about. So, and part of it is just we're monitoring as well, seeing the extent of the issue, if any. So, and we'll certainly bring our observation to the table when we have the meeting.
Right. It's certainly an issue where I think we can figure out something with the Department of Transportation and the rails, but what they want to necessarily do with that property. But at the same time, the other issues that have come up in the past, people walking off the trail or dog, I'm not sure what we can do about that, but certainly with respect to the parking issue, that will be our main focus right now. So, and that will dovetail into the parking on Kluber Road as well, I'm sure. So, just wanted to make sure everyone was aware. It's going to be an issue that we'll have to address, much like the railroad issue. If you get more information, we'll address it. Any other questions or comments?
I guess as you were discussing that, it was reminding me of West Side Road going by Conway, where there are some very Diana's Gap place.
Huge
traffic area. Yeah, in the last year or so, no parking signs for about a mile, both ways. And sometimes there is a line of cars on the side of the road where you can go in there.
Yep.
I find that no parking signs could be a little bit obnoxious as far as they're ugly. But the people, neighbors have had problems.
I mean, that's a great example, Ken. It's not, certainly during COVID, my wife and I, our kids go up and camp up there and spend time up in the valley there, and we know West Side Road very well. Same problem where the beach is on the corner at the kind of north end of West Side Road. During COVID, the numbers there were just enormous. Now, it's, I tend to think that it's changed a little bit as, as I said, when, restrictions get lifted in places like Massachusetts, suddenly people can go back to places in Massachusetts that they were prohibited from going to.
Yeah.
But, Diana's Pass is a great example of, sure, you can put no parking signs there, but all you're doing is squeezing the balloon, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure we're going to find the same thing at either this trailhead and when we addressed it up in Deer Trees, same problem. I'm with you. I don't think that we want no parking signs all over town. And I don't think that we want as a policy that when people have people parking in front of their house, they want no parking signs because all you're going to do is move them to the next people down and then you're going to want signs. And then move to the next week. So I don't know what the answer is. I'd like to hope that the answer is not no parking signs everywhere. But it's something that we're going to have to talk about and address and come to some decisions about. So. All right. With that, we have our revenue and expenses. We're going to do a quick review here. Oh, excellent. Love to see robust budget numbers. Wow. We tapped out our winter maintenance budget. And it was expensive. Something like Has anybody seen the latest weather updates? Are we gonna get hit with snow?
Not that I saw. Hope not.
Well, you heard about that system in North Dakota?
Yes,
2 to 3 feet out there?
nothing through the next 10 days anyway.
I
Well,
suspect it's,
for the next 5 days.
I suspect higher elevations in the Appalachians are gonna get hit. I don't know if anybody saw that we are yet. That's good. I hope not, only because as much as I like snow, I don't wanna pay for more plowing. Great. Excellent. We're just looking pretty good, actually, for end of March. All right. In addition to that, we have minutes to review from March 22nd. You good?
I am good.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for Tuesday, March 22nd.
Second day.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, great. Any other business?
Update on that voting issue
Yep,
for the military folks.
military ballots? Yep.
I have spoken with the Secretary of State, I've spoken with the Governor. There is an amendment that is now working its way through in the process that will be attached to a germane bill in the House and then taken to the Senate. Support looks very good, and this will allow absentee voters to request a ballot by email. The ballot will be emailed to them, and then they have to return it by United States mail. What that does is takes 3 weeks, such as if somebody's in Bahrain in the military, it takes 3 weeks U.S. mail to get to Bahrain, and then it takes another 3 weeks to get back, so now the ballot is not returned by close of business on election day, and this will take 3 weeks out of it. And David Scanlon, the Secretary of State, sees this as an interim solution to mitigate the de facto inability of people to vote when they're overseas.
For town elections.
Yes, for town elections.
And this is military, not all absentee.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And so what that, because the way the law is right now, it doesn't apply for state and federal because there is a federal program in place to
Right.
allow them to vote. Towns were the exception, and this will mitigate that problem.
Right.
And hopefully that'll be taken care of this week.
Excellent, excellent. All right, I think that's it. I will make a motion to adjourn today, April
Second
12th.
that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, have a good night, Billy. Take care.
How you doing, Mary? Everyone gets up a little slower these days.